All right, we've got 3 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. I am Captain Bain Sangster, spelling B-A-I-N-S-A-N-G-S-T-E-R. The Brigade Public Affairs Officer for the 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team 25th Infantry Division, also known as the Spartan Brigade. Thank you for being here today, and we'd also like to thank our families who have shown great support throughout this event. In a few moments, Colonel Bobby Ginn, spelled B-O-B-B-Y-G-I-N-N, Post Commander of the Camp Shelby Joint Force Training Center, and Colonel Christopher Landers, C-H-R-I-S-T-O-P-H-E-R-L-A-N-D-E-R-S, Commander of the Spartan Brigade, will make statements concerning our airborne operation conducted late last night, Camp Shelby, at approximately 8 p.m. local time. After the statement, Colonel Landers and Colonel Ginn will be available to answer your questions in turn. Please adhere to the following ground rules we'll set. Colonel Landers and Colonel Ginn will have 5 minutes to answer questions. Please remain on topic about the airborne operation. Only questions when called upon by me. When I call on you, please identify your name and your affiliation before asking your question. You may ask one question and one follow-up. This will allow for everyone an opportunity to participate in the event. If time permits, we may again for additional questions that you may have. Again, at this time, please silence your devices, your electronic devices, and be aware we are unable to release names of the injured at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Colonel Bobby Ginn.
Good afternoon. On 2 October 2019, the Spartan Brigade began Exercise Arctic Anvil 2019 at Camp Shelby, Mississippi, with an airborne operation involving approximately 650 paratroopers. The operation involved multiple aircraft on 2 drop zones. At one drop zone known as Camp Shelby Auxiliary Drop Zone, 87 paratroopers landed off course into a wooded area, resulting in injuries. 23 paratroopers were sent to Forest General Hospital for treatment. Of those 23, 4 remain in their care. The rest were sent back to their units or to the Troop Medical Clinic here at Camp Shelby. No paratroopers suffered life-threatening injuries. All families of injured paratroopers have been notified. The Rear Detachment Command Team for the Spartan Brigade at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, Alaska, will host a town hall for paratroopers and their families to keep them informed and address their concerns. All training on Camp Shelby was paused following the jump, and the incident is currently under investigation. On 2 October 2019, the Spartan Brigade began Exercise Arctic Anvil 2019 on Camp Shelby, Mississippi, with an airborne operation involving approximately 650 paratroopers. I will be followed by Colonel Christopher Landers, Commander, 4th Brigade Combat Team, Airborne, 25th Infantry Division, Alaska.
Good afternoon. At this time, all paratroopers have been accounted for and the families of those injured have been notified. The cause of the incident is under investigation. The exercise is currently on hold following the event, and we intend to continue training within the next 24 hours. I'd like to thank all the emergency medical and rescue personnel who were on standby prior to the jump, as well as the additional first responders who came to help. The response was overwhelming, and it is thanks to you that we were able to provide our paratroopers with the proper care as quickly as we did. What are your questions?
We will have 5 minutes beginning now.
Linnea Lewis with WJTV. Initially, you all said that wind may have been a factor. Is that still correct in how they shifted off course?
I think it's still undetermined. The investigation will kind of reveal exactly why so many jumpers ended up in the trees.
Next question? Yes.
John Fitz with WLOX. All the Guard members are actually from Alaska?
The Guard members? No.
Does that mean the unit members?
We are based in Alaska.
Okay, so this isn't the National Guard, this is a full unit.
This is an active duty BCT. Yep.
Next question? Right over here, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about this operation that you guys were conducting?
Okay, it's called Arctic Anvil. It is a what we call a culminating training event. It's in preparation for our rotation to JRTC, which is a Joint Readiness Training Center down in Fort Polk, Louisiana, that we'll execute in January. So this is a preparatory event for that. This current exercise is about 10 days, and it's a force-on-force training event where we fight against a locally sourced Mississippi Army National Guard element trained as an enemy force to help challenge the brigade and prepare us as we go on to JRTC in January.
Is this a setback in this training now that you had this accident? What happens now?
It's a short pause while we, gain accountability of the personnel, which is complete, gain accountability of our equipment, which is nearing completion, and we'll be back at the training event. So about a 18-hour or so interruption, but no significant change to the training plan.
Thank you for your question. Right over here, sir.
Colonel Lampus, Charles Harrington with WEAM in Hattiesburg. How rare an occasion is this for an accident like this to happen during training? Is it fairly commonplace, or is it very rare?
Injuries on jumps are fairly commonplace. To have this number is relatively rare. In my career, I've seen it about a half a dozen times where this many jumpers end up in the trees. Each different causation, so the investigation will kind of.
Speaking of that, can you give us how long investigation this might take into the cause?
Oh, it could take months. I can't speculate as to how long, but I've seen them last as long as months. But we'll stand by and find out.
Sir, right here.
Were there spotters on the ground?
Sir,
and
can you please
night
state your
vision?
name and affiliation?
My name is Tom Garman with Hattiesburg News Media. Spotters on the ground with night vision goggles who had radio communications with the C-130s.
There were.
Is there a possibility that this was human error?
Anything's a possibility. The investigation will let us know.
Right here, yes, sir.
Tom Juno with NBC News. Can you kind of describe this scene for us last night? I mean, you hear a lot of them wound up in trees. The response to that, getting them down.
So after the jump, in fairly short, recognized that a number of jumpers were drifting over the trees and in fact landed in the trees. We had emergency medical services, a lot of the unit personnel on the ground who reacted immediately. We reinforced through the help of Colonel Ginn with local emergency providers to help get jumpers out of the trees, and that lasted really through this morning about 8 o'clock. And we continue finding the last couple pieces of equipment that are still out there in and around the tree line.
Can you tell us what kind of equipment that is? Sorry,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
Lucy Beveridge with the Hattiesburg American.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's soldiers' individual equipment that they carry in, so anything from water to MREs to blank ammunition to platoon equipment. So it's a number of different things.
Yes, ma'am.
Renee Lewis with WJTV. Do you know approximately what time the last trooper was taken down from the tree?
It was about 8 o'clock this morning.
All right, we have 1 minute. We can take one more question. Yes, sir.
Spencer Cooper, NBC News. Can you describe how far off course the disbursement of the
Well, I don't want to say off course, but from the intended point of impact, I think we were in the neighborhood of anywhere from 200 to 400 yards. So that's a rough guess as I understand it right now.
Thank you for your questions.
Okay, I'll turn it back over to PAO.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending this briefing.